Getting you some back-to-back updates coming in right now, Republic TV viewers. A Canadian court restricts pro-Khalistan protesters from gathering within 100 meters of Hindu temples in Toronto. So this is a big update coming in for you right now on Republic TV. And remember that this is the backdrop of so many attacks we have seen on Hindu temples in Canada. Now, this is coming in the backdrop of those developments which had made the headlines. This time, we see a big update coming in. We'll try to get you some more updates. But the Canadian court has restricted pro-Khalistan protesters from gathering within 100 meters of Hindu temple in Toronto. The Lakshmi Narayan Mandir has got an injunction order from a Canadian Superior Court to prevent Khalistani protesters from gathering within 100 meters of the premises. I want to go across to my colleague, Senior Executive Editor Abhishek Kapoor joining us. Abhishek, very, very big update coming in because this is a big support to the Hindu cultural community, which has seen so many attacks on Hindu temples by radical Khalistani protesters.
It definitely is. And remember, Shivangi, even for this, the Hindu community had to go and seek judicial protection. And only following that, this order has come by a lower court, a district court. I think this still does not take away from the fact that the Canadian establishment, not just the deep state, the entire establishment has been very protective of the Khalistani elements in their society, because of which they have felt so emboldened that at every event, every other day, every time there is some congregation of the Hindu community, these Khalistani elements really come in and carry out these protests to intimidate and essentially to create a fear psychosis amongst the rest of the Indian diaspora. Also, of course, they are trying to send across a global message that Khalistani activism is for real, which obviously it is not. So if you look at these pictures closely, it's the same set of 20, 30 odd Khalistani separatist elements who are seen at every protest in Canada that they, pop up. And so in this case also, I think if you look at the court order, maybe that is also reflective of the changed circumstances where Justin Trudeau had to, rush to Mar-a-Lago and pay a visit to President-elect Trump because Justin Trudeau knows that things have changed. He will not get the kind of protection he was getting from Washington, D.C. anymore, and then he will have to mend his ways. So obviously that message is going down the Canadian establishment, and so maybe things might be changing. We hope that by the time President Trump is in White House, a stronger message would go that this kind of messing around with the social fabric for the objectives of deep state in U.S., in Canada, aimed at destabilizing India and its neighborhood are not going to be accepted and tolerated. I think the latest Trump appointment of Kashyap Patel as the next FBI director is another round of messaging coming in from the Trump transition team that things are not going to be the same for the deep state, for the establishment, and this lower court order in Canada, providing just a semblance of protection to the Hindu community at the Lakshmi Narayan temple there in Scarborough in Ontario. I think it's just one example, a very welcome example of those changing times ahead.